So in this video we'll be learning about custom dimensions and metrics. Firstly, what are dimensions and metrics? They are just attributes or measurements of the objects that are present. And there's not much difference between dimensions and metrics, just that metrics are quantitative measurements. Alright. And so yeah, let's get started with it. So, firstly, let's discuss how it differs from Universal Analytics. Now, coming into Google Analytics 4. In Google Analytics 4, if you go to Configure and Custom Definitions, and if you go to Create Custom Definitions, and in Scope, we only have event and user. Previously, we used to have event, session, user, and even product. So now we only have event and user in Google Analytics 4 because we know it's an event based model. So everything is sent as an event. And what's the difference between these two? Now, let's say whenever someone reads an article on your site, you set an event, right? And in that event, you pass data about author, the title, and the number of pages, right? Now what you can do is you can use these to then create a author name dimension which will get values from the author parameter, or you can create a author length metric which would get the values from number of pages parameter. So this is an example of your event scope, right, where we are focusing on an event to get values from an event. But user scope is where you target a specific user, and it could have examples such as the profession of the user could be an engineer or their favorite team or anything like that. So this is just a basic difference between event scope and user scope. So yeah, now let's go to Google Tag Manager. Let's go to preview and check out our site. Connect. Now we had already embedded some videos into our site, and this is one from Vimeo. Suppose I play this video, right, and pause it. Now I want to uh, track engagement of this video by the video title. So if I go here, continue, if I go to a Vimeo track and data layer, we can see there's attributes such as video action, play, or video name, which is being Batman. So I want to, if I had multiple videos here and I wanted to track using a video name, so I can create a custom definition which then I can use to track engagement using video name. So how will we go about it? Firstly, let's go to Google Tag Manager, and in variables, we need to create a data layer variable which will be our video name. This they had already created one, but we are not going to be using that. We created our own data layer variable which is video name, right? So you go here, variable type, you select data layer variable, and data layer variable name would be video name, as it was in the summary. Like it's case sensitive, so we'll need to type it as it was in the summary or in the data layer. So we'll create this, close this, then we'll create a trigger. We need to fire the event when we need to fire the tag when we get the message of the Vimeo track, right? I'll start preview again. So yeah, we get this event, right? So we need to set the trigger to this event, and Vimeo track T capital. So in triggers, we'll create a custom event trigger type custom event, and event name would be Vimeo track, right, as it is here. Then we'll name it and close it, And then finally in tags you need to create a Google Analytics 4 tag, which will then send data to Google Analytics 4. And in our GA4 tags, video title, right? So here you'll select the tag type to be Google Analytics 4, and configuration tag will set it to GA4 configuration, and event name will name it as Vimeo video engagement. Now in event parameters, parameter name you can set it to any name you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same thing as we saw in the data layer. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same thing here. So I have named it video title, and the value will get it from the data layer variable of video name that we had created earlier. Right, this will be a custom dimension that we are setting here. Right, then we'll close this, and trigger will set it to the custom event Vimeo track trigger that we just created, which yeah, of this event. Then we'll save it and close it, and let's start preview again. Go to about, and let's interact with the video. So I pressed play and we should get the Vimeo track here, and you can see our GA4 video title tag has fired successfully, right? And then to check in analytics, again we could go to debug view, and we can see that it is being sent to analytics as well. But to actually get the data to track in analytics, you need to first register it as a custom definition. So you will go to create custom definition, dimension name, you will put it as video title, right? And event parameter also will set it as event title, and scope is event, right? And description is optional. If you want it, you can set it. If you don't want it, you cannot set. You don't have to set it. So yeah, you'll have to register this first, custom dimension, and then within 24 hours you will be able to see this in your events section, and then it will be available for tracking from there. Also, if you go back to custom definitions, here's an important information. If you go to quota information, there's only a limited amount of dimensions or metrics you could create, and yeah, once you have reached the limit, so you could archive some of the custom dimensions you don't need. You could archive this and create new ones, right? So this was pretty much all about creating custom definitions and metrics. Even metrics are the same. You could create them using the same method. Just you have to provide a unit of measurement, because we saw the difference between metrics and dimensions is that metrics are quantitative measurements, right? So you need to provide a unit of measurement for that. So yeah, this was all for the video. Thank you.